French lady, one of my people. Um, Minister of Canadian Heritage, as if that's a real thing. She's got the rainbow flag in her profile. She's a member of Parliament, so let's call it a House member if we're in the U.S. She says, and she's a liberal, so she's in the government power. Meta's reckless choice to block news before the act is enforced is hurting access to vital information on Facebook and Instagram. We're calling on them to reinstate news sharing today for the safety of Canadians facing this emergency. We need more news right now. So there's wildfires in Canada again, of course, because now every time there's a wildfire, it's international news. But what she's saying, Eric, is even though we're blocking um even though our legislation is making it so that you can't show people, you know, news anymore, you need to allow it to be shown until it goes into effect, or else you're being a bad company. So it's okay when the government says that you have to censor things or pay them, but if the social media company goes ahead and does it on their own anyways, because obviously they want people to be upset about this and tell the government to turn it off, it's bad. So government censorship bad, social media censorship bad, but unless it's gonna help the news about the wildfire, then we got to stop it. So this is the insane thinking that we're dealing with here. That this person thinks that telling the social media companies to unblock news because they don't have to yet, that's like a good play and a good look.
Yeah, well, it's obviously every single thing we know now, and we sort of beat this. There's several running themes of the show, but every single thing we obviously know is about gaining control. So it's always a different way of gaining the same control, right? So there's and do they want us to believe? First of all, another question that's pretty standard here is: does she realize how out of line this is, and does it anyway? Like, I would much rather have somebody who is, a smart scam artist, power hungry politician who's just who understands the scam, versus some people who I guess are not so much politicians, but the residents, the citizens who think the politicians are actually doing good for them, right? So does she know? Does she go home and realize, like, does she go home and think like, oh, I'm doing a good thing, or does she sit down at the crib and drink coffee or whatever and know absolutely how insane it is and know that all of it's just for power, or do they? You see what I'm saying? It's a pretty standard
Mm-hmm.
question, right? Like, where do we draw the line? I mean, obviously there's a lot of stupid people out there, but I think it's more likely that there are malicious villains. But I don't know.
Hmm. Well, I would think that,
This one in
you know,
particular.
this one in particular, I would think that she believes that, it's the social media company's fault. They should be paying the news companies, that because they align with her, the mainstream media companies that are blocked. I mean, you can still go on, you can still talk about news. My friend Matt Brevner, rapper, reporter extraordinaire, he posts stuff about the wildfires on social media right now. He can still do that, but she thinks that the social media company should be paying these news sites for whatever reason, and therefore this should never have to happen. We shouldn't have to censor you. We shouldn't have to force you to pay. You should just do it out the good of your heart. That's what a lot of these, she's a liberal, but I'm guessing that she's only a liberal because the far leftists don't have any power, or else she would be with them, because those are the type. Let's be honest, white woman in her 30s or early 40s, thinks that everything is evil and patriarchal. She's a gay woman, she needs to promote that. She's a far leftist. She's just going where the power is because she wants a job, because she's not qualified to do anything else, because I believe she was an Olympic athlete. Um, they think that this should be just given to them. Everything should just be given to you. The social media companies have tons of money. Give it to them no matter what. Forget about the ethics. It's all fine. So I think that she really does believe that, it's on Facebook and Instagram to pay this stuff, because she too is probably one of those people who are like, I have to go to Instagram for my news. And that brings me to my other point, Eric, where as much as I disagree that the social media companies should have to pay the news companies because you're using a platform willingly, as much as it sucks, I also disagree that the government should be forcing this. But on the other hand, go to a different website. Joe Biden, go to a different website, man. Like these are the we know that all these same people who are complaining about this say that Zuckerberg's a lizard person. You know, he's a piece of crap. I hate Facebook. They shadow ban everybody, but you won't go to a website. Like I don't use social media for my news. That's not how I find my news. I go to directly to news websites. Call
Yeah,
me
it's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
And so this doesn't affect me at all. You know what's on my you know what's on my algorithm, Eric? Um, you know, offensive memes and fat guys playing basketball. So my algorithm is safe. If you People will spend 90% of their day posting about the lizard people and about the conspiracies and how the news is lying to you. And then at the end of the day, they're just like, at the end of the day, by the way, at the end of the day, they're just like, I can't go. You can't even go to infowars.com. You're not going to theblaze.com. You can't go to any of these websites just to get news. No, I have to have it all in one app. And it's just, the same people who are just like, well, I'm against all this other stuff, but I'm still going to get vaccinated in order to go to work. What's the problem here? It's like a neocon take, yet it's from people who are regularly, let's call them the freedom oriented people or conspiracy theorists or whatever. Anybody who's against, social media's norms, they're just not willing to get off the platform for some reason. I don't get it.
Well, I'm looking at my algorithm right now, the Instagram Explore page, and I don't know, I don't know how it works, but I have this theory that I have one friend of mine who sends me certain things, and then it screws up the algorithm, and then it like, he'll send me this like super dark stuff that like shouldn't even be on Instagram, and I'm like, dude, stop sending me this stuff. Like
Is it me?
no, it's not you. But this guy will like he'll send, bro. I don't even want to mention it. Like
I'll tell you.
he'll send me like faces of death type stuff that I
Uh,
don't even know how it even remains on
yeah.
Instagram.
Turn it up, Jordan.